Hey everyone, welcome back into the platform podcast for the Great Plains region, where we mention standout performers and performances from across the Great Plains. Before we get started, I want to tell you I went to the game, the playoff game with Washburn Rural hosted Wichita South, and walking up, I got to meet one of my all-time icon favorites, Mr. Greg Ikagi from WIBW 580 here in Topeka. I've listened to him since I was a little boy doing the ag report. I remember sitting at my grandfather's, who owned a large dairy farm in rural Shawnee County, and I would sit at the breakfast table with my grandpa every day that I was up there, and he would listen to Mr. Greg Ikagi doing the ag report. He also does some sports stuff for 580. He does a lot of sports stuff for 580 and 810. 580, and just does a lot of good stuff out there. So he was my idol, and I got to meet him, get my picture taken with him, and I don't know that he realizes how important he is in my past, in my life. So thank you, Mr. Ikagi, for all you do, and thank you for stopping to take a picture with me. As far as the game, I went to, again, the Washburn Rural hosted Wichita South in the first round of the playoffs, and they won 37-0 over Wichita South. John Hoytel he sat out again this game. He's still nursing that injury a little bit. I fully expect him to come back just as better than ever. So don't let that injury fool you. He is a really great quarterback that will take whatever college that signs him is going to get a really good quarterback. And he visited Fort Hays State this weekend, and I texted the Fort Hays State coaches and told them be on the lookout for this guy because he's really good. As far as the game, again, 37-0. Jaden Baum, he's a 2027 running back. He surpassed the 1,000 yards on the season in that game. He had 182 yards on 15 carries, and he added 3 rushing touchdowns. One was a 46-yard, and he had a pair of 8-yard touchdown runs. Joining the touchdown party was 2026 running back TJ Minikue. He added a 5-yard touchdown run. Minikue added 16 carries for 70 yards. And then through the air, wide receiver Nate Selm had another standout performance at wide receiver. He finished with 5 catches for 33 yards, including a 7-yard touchdown catch. So on the Wichita South side, they started out quarterback Rashawn Johnson, who is a very good athletic quarterback, plays all the positions. He has offers from Independence, Benedictine, and Sterling. But due to them falling behind quick, they needed to put their best athletes in the best positions to make the comeback. And he, with his speed and quickness, they put him out at wide receiver, which was a very smart move. He finished with 3 catches for 43 yards, but he really put a spark in that offense from the wide receiver spot. The guy that really impressed me the most out of everybody in the entire game, even Washburn Rural side, the guy that impressed me was Anthony Wynn. Now his name is spelled Nguyen, Anthony Wynn. Coaches, I've already texted a lot of you. He is a D end that is a shutdown D. He shuts down one side of the field. If you were to move him inside, I think, oh my gosh, he to me he projects more into an inside backer. But his motor is one of the best motors I've ever seen on a high school kid. He plays fast and 100 miles an hour every single snap, from the first snap to the last, and he gives his body up more than any other linebacker that I've ever seen. Just really good. He's 6'1", 235-pound ball of muscle, ball of chaos. You need to get in on Anthony Wynn out of Wichita South. Get in on him now because, like I said, I've texted a couple coaches on him. I'm going to try to get him as much notice as I can. Dropping his name to DN coaches and D coordinators, but really need to get in on him. So let's go into the state of Kansas now. Remember, as we go through this podcast weekly, we're going to be dropping off a lot of names because you're losing a lot of teams. So these podcasts are going to start getting. You really need to ball out if you want to make your name on these. So we're going to start off with 2028. So he's a sophomore. A guy now I've named on this podcast almost every week though. Quarterback Holden Ferrales out of Sedgwick. He is the Kansas Colts quarterback and 7-on-7. But for Sedgwick, he is again their sophomore starting quarterback. For the game, he had 12 of 16 passing for 232 yards. Now for the season, Holden again, this is a sophomore, so really impressive numbers for a sophomore. 7.5 games, 1,317 yards passing, 10 passing touchdowns, and 5 rushing touchdowns. Then on defense, he's played 6.5 games, and he's had 34 tackles, and 20 solo tackles, and 2 interceptions. So again, 2028, he'll probably be one of the biggest named 2028 quarterbacks on the recruiting scene. In 2028, he'll be one of the top ones in the state of Kansas. For me, this guy's the top college-ready quarterback in 2026 class. Quarterback Brett LaDuke out of Blue Valley West. Again, heard him on the show many times. He's a transfer out of Lake Dallas, Texas, so he brought that Texas talent up to Kansas. Again, he is my number one college-ready quarterback in the state of Kansas for 2026. The reason I say that is he combines his size with his mechanics and his knowledge of how to run the offense, how to run his team, how to disrupt the defense with his success. He spreads it all around the field with extremely good throws. For the game, he was 40. In their playoff game, in their playoff win over Shawnee Mission East, they won 42-35, and he was 18 of 24 for 192 yards and 4 touchdowns. So again, Brett LaDuke, he has a better way of guiding his receivers, manipulating the defense, manipulating the DBs into false security. He's just, and when he takes off running, he's a very good running quarterback. So Brett LaDuke out of Blue Valley West, 2026, and they will be moving on in the playoffs. Then we go to one of my favorite teams overall in all of the country, Blue Valley, and they did lose to Mill Valley. Now Mill Valley is probably going to go to either the state championship or the semifinals at the very minimum. But so a loss to Mill Valley is no big thing to be ashamed of. Blue Valley has a great team this year, and they're very young. And their quarterback is Dan Sogard, and he was 23 of 29 for 355 yards and 4 passing touchdowns. His favorite target was 2027 wide receiver Jordan Lockett, 10 receptions for 140 yards and 2 of Sogard's 4 passing touchdowns. Jordan had 2 of those. And yes, Jordan Lockett is a part of that Lockett name. So that's Blue Valley. Again, they lost to Mill Valley. No shame in that. Blue Valley, you're young. You'll be back next year, I promise. Next we go to Bucket's number 1 running back in the state of Kansas, 2026 Braden Pappas. He's out of Goddard Eisenhower. Now he is the fastest man in Kansas. That goes for wide receivers, goes for cornerbacks, goes for anything. Braden Pappas is the fastest. He was clocked in official clock in pads at 21.9 miles an hour. And also, they did lose to who I think is going to be the eventual state champions in Hayes. They did lose to them. And 2 days later, he announced that he will be in a 12-week speed class. So, again, he's 2026. So, coaches, he is an absolute grinder. He just wants to get better. Please believe me in this guy. He's a great in between the tackles runner. Once he hits that second level, he's gone. At 5'7" and 180 pounds, he's to me He's got ideal running back size to grow a little bit. He's already just a ball of muscle. So, but he had, again, against an eventual state champion, he had 19 carries for 257 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, Braden Pappas out of Goddard Eisenhower. Next, we go to 2027, Madden Brittingham. He is a running back out of Free State. I believe this is the first time he's been on the show. They won 61-47 in the playoffs over Olathe East. Again, his Free State team, he set the Free State school single game scoring record in this playoff game. He had 21 carries for 283 yards and 7 touchdowns. So the 49 points is a new Free State single game scoring record. He also added 5 tackles, and then the next day he went on a KU visit, which I am hearing went very well for Madden Brittingham out of Free State. 2027. Next is 2028, Maxon Smiley. He's a quarterback out of Colby, and he will be quarterbacking for the Kansas Colts. And so we will be able to see him play. Really excited to see Maxon Smiley play for quarterback for the Colts. His sophomore season, again, this is a sophomore that starts out at Colby. He had 1,322 yards passing with 13 touchdown passes. So Maxon Smiley, 2028. I'm going to watch him on 7-on-7 with the Kansas Colts. And Colts always put out the best athletes. 2027, Coy Barta, wide receiver out of Seaman. For this season, he had 38 catches for 642 yards and 10 touchdowns. Now that equals out to 16 yards per catch and 71 yards per game. I really want to see Coy play on 7-on-7. I don't care who he plays for, but I think he needs to play 7-on-7. I think that would help him improve his game a lot. He's 2027. Then we go to another Kansas Colt, one of my absolute favorites. He's a 2026 Zane Farney. He's a running back out of Sterling. He had 250 yards, 4 total touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns, and 1 punt return for touchdowns. So Zane Farney, Sterling, you hear him on every single show because he is a absolute stud, and he plays for the Colts. Then we go to 2027, Maddox Gerard. He's an outside linebacker for Salina South. Again, he is. I really hope to see him play for the Colts. In their playoff win over Andover, which was a huge upset. Andover was the number 3 ranked in that division, in that bracket. Salina South beat them in 24-20. In that win, Maddox, at his outside linebacker, had 9 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 1 forced fumble, and 1 fumble recovery. And he had the game-winning strip forced fumble at the goal line with a minute left in their 24-20 win. So Maddox Gerard out of Salina South, game-winning. He had a strip fumble and has under 1 minute left to preserve the win. Then we go to 2026, Rajon Shears, linebacker out of Derby, 49-0 playoff win over Topeka High. They will face Junction City, who is quarterbacked by a guy I'll mention a little bit later on the show. He'll face Junction City Friday night. In their game against Topeka High, Rajon had 12 tackles, 3 sacks, and 2 tackles for loss. So great game. 2028, Cam Akins, again sophomore, cornerback, Wichita East. This guy's a track guy, one of the fastest guys in Kansas. Just a really great future for this 2028 corner. In a 27-18 playoff win over Dodge City, he had 4 tackles, 1 pass breakup, 1 forced fumble, and again, he's just a sophomore, so his season totals, he was targeted 19 times. He only allowed 3 catches. He had 18 tackles, 8 pass breakups, and he did not allow any touchdowns. As a sophomore for Wichita East, Cam Akins does a great job. One of my favorite running backs in the state of Kansas, 2026 LJ Bowens. He's a running back out of Blue Valley Northwest. He had 19 carries, 120 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He also added 2 catches for 23 yards. LJ Bowens is a guy that I've talk about on the show a lot of times. He's started off the season with a couple offers, and then with a wonderful season, he's gotten a lot more offers. So do not ever think that going into your senior season, I've had guys tell me going into their senior season from other scouts that if this guy doesn't have a lot of offers going into his senior season, he's probably not going to get a lot of offers. Bull. Okay, this guy's proof. He just swimming in offers now. L.J. Bowens out of Blue Valley Northwest. If you're not in on him right now, you better get in on him. 2027 Bryce Alford, quarterback out of Baldwin, on the show every time, every week, because he is a absolute grinder. He's an absolute team leader. First in line at every single drill at camps. He is an absolute program changing leader. Okay, Bryce Alford out of Baldwin, 2027. So you got a year to get in on him. He is a dual threat for the game. He has 16 of 26 for 140 yards and 1 passing touchdown. He had 13 carries for 102 yards and 1 rushing touchdown. For the season, Bryce is 79 of 135 for 1,320 yards, 18 touchdowns, and 1 interception. He has 78 carries for 566 yards, 8 rushing touchdowns, and he has a total of 1,886 total yards with 26 touchdowns. Then we go to 2026 Cole Frank, running back, linebacker, quarterback, you name the position, he'll play it, out of Wabunsee. For the career, he had 3,389 all-purpose yards with 42 touchdowns. He had 228 tackles, 20 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, 4 interceptions, and 2 pick six. It's Cole Frank out of Wabunsee. Now, 2026 Conrad Gomez. I mentioned Junction City earlier. He is their quarterback in a 55-7 playoff win over Wichita West. He only played 4 series, and he was 9 of 13 for 150 yards and 4 passing touchdowns in 4 series. That means he threw a passing touchdown every single series he got in. 2027 Joe Mortensen, DB running back out of Manhattan. Wonderful young man. And their 47-15 playoff win over Garden City. He had 8 tackles, 2 pass breakups, and he had 10 carries for 88 yards and 1 touchdown run. Again, Joe Mortensen, wonderful young man. 2027 Rain Ilion, quarterback Mace South, 18 of 28 for 319 yards, 3 passing touchdowns, and 92 rushing yards. I'd really like to see this guy play 7-on-7. Really like to see that. 2026 Sire Padilla. He's a running back out of Gardner Edgerton. He is statistically one of the greatest Kansas running backs this year. He is a Pitt State commit, and it's Sire Padilla. Now that name is spelled S-Y-R-E, Padilla. And so it's Sire Padilla, running back of Gardner Edgerton. In their playoff win over Shawnee Mission West, he had 173 yards and 3 touchdowns. For the season, Sire has 1,887 yards rushing, 28 touchdowns, and he averages 235 yards per game. I want to repeat that. 235 yards per game average for Sire Padilla. 2026, he is a Pitt State commit. Then we go to William Voos, 2026, running back Sabetha, Coach Bucket's all-time hidden gem. If you get him, if you get your eyes on him, you will offer him. What I want you to do is, if you go to his huddle video, check out his jump cut between the tackles. Beautiful. This guy is an amazing running back that you need to get your eyes on. I hope he plays 7-on-7 because I want to see him catch balls out of the backfield and see how he turns that speed up. In a 48-0 playoff win, he played less than 1 quarter, and he had, I want you to listen to this, 3 carries for 107 yards. So that's 36 yards per carry. So he had 3 carries, 107 yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns. So 2 touchdowns on 3 carries. And just to let you know, that's the end of Kansas. But just so you know, I will be at Silver Lake to watch William Voos versus Sabetha take on Silver Lake this Friday. So that's where I'll be this Friday. Then we want to go to Arkansas. 2026 Creed Vega, quarterback out of Dardanelle. He was 17 of 25 for 304 yards, 4 passing touchdowns. 85 yards rushing, and 1 rushing touchdown. 2027, Isaiah Stevens. I've talked about him a couple times. Running back out of Sheridan. He's the number 1 running back in the state of Arkansas for the 2027 class versus Sylvan Hills. He had 19 carries, 106 yards for 2 touchdowns. He also added 3 catches for 36 yards and a touchdown. 2026, Amari Norman, running back out of McGehee. In one half, he had 7 carries, 100 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 2-point conversion touchdown, and he had 14.2 yards per carry. And what I want to say about Amari Norman out of McGehee is I love that town because I drive through it. Every time I drive to Florida, we drive right through McGehee. So now every time I go through there, I will remember Amari Norman. So I'm really excited to see that. 2028, so we got another sophomore, Jeremiah Johnson out of Lake Hamilton. He's an athlete. He had 6 carries for 119 yards and 1 touchdown. Then he had 4 catches for 55 yards. Then he had 3 tackles, which 2 were solo, and he also added an 83-yard kickoff return. 2026, Forsgren. Blake Forsgren, quarterback out of Southside High School, and that's in Fort Smith area. He was 19 of 31, 206 yards with 2 passing touchdowns. And he also had 58 yards rushing and 1 receiving touchdown as a quarterback. 2027, Kane Price, a quarterback out of Stuttgart. In one half, Kane was 12 of 12 for 332 yards and 4 touchdowns in one half. And I've had Kane on the program a couple times. So 2027, Kane Price, quarterback, Stuttgart. 2026, Talon Williams. I've had him a couple times as well. Quarterback out of Gentry High School versus Prairie Grove. He was 32 of 47 for 517 yards with 6 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He also added 37 yards rushing with 1 touchdown. That was in Arkansas. Now we go to Indiana. 2028, sophomore Markel Bailey, wide receiver out of Franklin Central. He had 7 catches, 146 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He does own a Miami of Ohio offer. Again, it's Markel Bailey out of Franklin Central. 2027, Jaden Gilbert, wide receiver out of Bedford North Lawrence. 8 catches, 127 yards, 1 touchdown. And he is their go-to pass-catching receiver. Jaden Gilbert, had him on the show a couple times. Then we move over to Missouri, where we have 2026 Brett Ottensmeyer, quarterback out of Parkway West. That's out of the St. Louis area. He's a 3-star Missouri State commit. He was 20 of 24 for 271 yards, 4 passing touchdowns, and he ran the ball twice for 13 yards with 1 rushing touchdown. Then we have 2026 Strong Side KC 7-on-7. Really like this guy. I've seen him play on 7-on-7 many times with Strong Side. Zamar Cheatham, he had a Liberty North running back, 14 carries, 139 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Zamar is an amazing athlete. Let's go over to Colorado. We have 2027 Hudson Rowe. He is the wide receiver out of Riverdale Ridge. He is a Ducks 7-on-7. Again, the Ducks are one of my favorite national teams. Really want to see them come to a DR7 tournament. He had 3 catches for 42 yards and a touchdown. 2026 Tevin Stokes is a quarterback out of Chaparral High School, and he is a Team Full Gorilla, another one of my favorite teams. He was 22 of 38 for 343 yards and 3 passing touchdowns. He had 26 yards rushing with 1 rushing touchdown. 2027 Marquise Reese, quarterback out of Mountain Vista. He has Mountain Vista as the undefeated league champs. He's 19 of 21 of 317 yards, 4 passing touchdowns, and 1 rushing touchdown. The passing touchdown was his 41st of the year, and the rushing touchdown was his 5th rushing touchdown of the year. One of my favorite linebackers in Colorado, 2027, Cole Rushoff, out of Cheyenne Mountain. For the season, he has 96 tackles, 14 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, 6 quarterback hurries, 2 forced fumbles, 4 fumble recoveries with 1 touchdown. He also has 2 pass breakups, and he has visited New Mexico and Air Force and Brown. So again, that's Cole Rushoff out of Cheyenne Mountain, 2027. So then let's go to Iowa, where we have the guy, one of my favorite quarterbacks ever. Mentioned him on every show. 2026, Reese Wheeler, quarterback out of Iowa City West. He is the number 3 5A passing leader with 2,069 yards. And he has 58 yards rushing in his last game where he was against Cedar Falls, where he was 15 of 21 passing for 219 yards and a passing touchdown. Again, they beat in the first round of their playoffs 38-21 over Cedar Falls. So Reese Wheeler, again, one of my all-time favorites. 2026, Ian Middleton, out of Dowling Catholic running back. In one half, Ian had 8 carries for 119 yards and 2 touchdowns. 2027, Savion Miller, running back, Regina Catholic. He is the number 1 running back in the state of Iowa for 2027 class. He had 14 carries, 145 yards, 1 touchdown. And he got offered by Minnesota, and he already has offers from Kent State and Iowa. 2026, Kyle Tracy, mentioned him a couple times on the show. Dual threat quarterback out of Regina Catholic. He is Savion Miller's quarterback. In 3 quarters, in their 52-13 win, he had 302 yards passing with 6 touchdowns, and he leads all 1A in touchdowns with 36, and 25 of 40 quarters is all he's played. So in 25 of 40 quarters, he's number 1 in the 1A with 36 touchdown passes. He does own 10 offers, so you better get in on him quick. Illinois, 2027, Colin Schweigen, quarterback out of Rock Ridge. Mention him on every show. He's a wonderful, wonderful quarterback. He's 6'2", 200 pounds. In their 56-12 win, he had 11 rushes for 135 yards and 2 touchdowns. In passing, he was 7 of 13 for 104 yards. So he's a very, very, very good dual threat quarterback. Colin Schweigen, 2027, out of Rock Ridge. 2027, Dallas Harder, running back, linebacker out of Peoria, Notre Dame. 114 rushing yards, 1 rushing touchdown, and he also added 10 tackles and 1 interception. He has a visit to Illinois State. Then we go to Oklahoma, a guy that another repeat offender on the show. 2026 running back Kenny Golston out of Valiant High School. He's an Idaho commit. He's a 3-star running back that plays for C4 7-on-7. 23 carries, 233 rushing yards, and 3 touchdowns. He also added 2 solo tackles with 2 tackles for losses. 2026, one of my favorite running backs in the state of Oklahoma. He is Tay Perry, running back out of Union. In one half, Tay had 9 carries, 144 yards, and 3 touchdowns, and he plays for 918, the unit, 7-on-7. Then we go to Michaelan Dixon. He plays for Sean Cooper at C4, and I just want to congratulate him on, really don't have his stats, but I do know that he received his first offer from Oklahoma Baptist, so great job to that C4 athlete. Then I'm going to go to 2026 Colby Watson. He's a quarterback out of Grove. I saw him at a KU camp, and at the KU camp, to me, he was the most complete quarterback. So he's 6'4", 220, and he set a new school record this week in one half, 320 yards with 4 passing touchdowns. Now he has offers from Northeastern State, Colorado School of the Mines, William Jewell, Northwestern, which is in Iowa, and Northwest Oklahoma State. So Colby Watson, again, at the KU camp, he was the most complete quarterback that I saw at that camp. Then we go to Minnesota for the 6'12" quarterback trainer, Kyler Tom, every week on the show. 2026 out of Southwest Minneapolis, 203 passing yards, 81 rushing yards, and again 6'12" quarterback. So you're gonna get somebody that really knows the quarterback position inside and out. So then we are going to close it out as we do every week on the great state of Florida. 2027 Dylan Lothane, running back out of Freeport. In a 36-35 win, he has 19 carries, 185 yards rushing with 2 touchdowns. 2027, Torion the Prophecy James, running back athlete out of Riverview, 20 carries, 240 yards, 4 touchdowns. Earlier in mid-season, he was Offensive Player of the Week 1 week. So Travion Prophecy James out of Riverview. 2026, Edison Slick Rick Delgado, wide receiver out of West Orange, 4 catches, 157 yards, and 1 touchdown. 2026, Bryson Vols, quarterback Parish Community High School, in a win over Sarasota, 15 of 24, 255 yards, 4 touchdowns, and he was named the 6A Florida Athletic Coaches Association District 16 Player of the Year. So Bryson Vols, quarterback, Parish Community. 2026, Hunter Schaller, my favorite nickel in the state of Florida, out of Vanguard. He had a FSU visit this week, and he has a USF visit in a couple weeks. He plays for the 352 Reapers out of the Orlando area. He had 7 tackles, 1 fumble, 1 forced fumble, 1 tackle for loss. And again, he was featured in one of my DR7 The Platform articles as being one of the top nickel defenders in the country. 2027, Trey Kelly, quarterback, Southlake High School out of Groveland, Florida. Single season touchdown record, 32 touchdowns and counting. In a 42-14 win over Leesburg, he was 19 of 21 for 308 yards with 5 touchdown passes. 2027, Logan Flaherty, quarterback out of Port Charlotte versus Naples for the district championship. He had 205 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns, and 1 rushing touchdown. 2026, Patrick Harding, quarterback out of, and he is a Balin Trujillo trained out of Zephyr Hills, 21 of 28, 405 passing yards with 6 touchdown passes in a 49-48 win. Again, Patrick Harding, Zephyr Hills, 21 of 28, 405 yards and 6 touchdowns. And let's close it out with a Prime 8 7-on-7 guy. 2027, Carmari Solomon, wide receiver DB out of Oviedo, 12 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 1 fumble recovery, and 1 pass breakup. So that's Kamari Solomon. So that's all of them for this show. Again, as the playoffs get started and the teams get smaller, so is the list. So we're going to be adding some things here and there. Probably be adding some more 7-on-7 since that's getting close. Probably be adding more 7-on-7 content to the program. But thanks for joining, and we will see you next time.